Is our traditional focus on managing the servers, that is, the people, a good course of action in product development? Well, in traditional project management, say for home construction, the objective is to manage cost and timelines. After all, the holy grail in project management is the so-called iron triangle, which we are able to deliver a defined scope within a defined budget within a defined timeline. After all, somebody paid for the construction of this house, and they probably wanted to have a specific move-in date, and they probably had a fixed budget of what they could afford or the mortgage they could put on this house. Taking an agile approach to developing this house, for example, and saying, well, we will fix the budget and we will fix the timeline and the scope will flex, is not going to be greeted with a lot of enthusiasm from a homeowner or a potential homeowner. So definitely, traditional project management gives us some certainty into what is going to be delivered to us, when it's going to be delivered to us, and how much it's going to cost. Now, here's the issue as we move forward in software development or knowledge work in general. Cost in product development or knowledge work is pretty much driven by people. There's not a lot, most projects don't have a significant bill of materials that make up their costs, maybe as in construction. And the one thing about the people is they are very expensive, typically very hard to find, and even harder to retain. So they're a very valuable, very expensive resource. So conventional wisdom says that we want to make the most efficient use of our people. We don't want them going idle. We don't want them working on less valuable stuff. We want to keep them busy. And so the ideal would be to be having almost like an assembly line of work going to them. We have it tightly scheduled so that we get the best value and the best utilization out of our people, or we might call them our servers. So the way that we do this is we maximize their utilization by creating effectively production schedules and managing timelines. Typical example is the so-called Gantt chart, where we're specifically saying which person, which resource, or which server is going to be performing what task, when, and when are they going to move to the next task. The idea is to keep them busy because, after all, they're expensive, hard to acquire, and hard to retain. But the question now we have to ask is keeping them busy efficient? The conventional wisdom would be, well, yeah, they're very expensive, hard to find. Of course we want to keep them fully utilized. But that may not actually work for us. In fact, a lot of people, including many in the project management community, have written that good project management practices, delivering the defined scope in the defined time, in the specified budget, doesn't guarantee business value and therefore success in a project. We have to be able to start thinking about defining project success as creating value. Not creating and delivering value, not just managing the delivery, but did we actually create value? Also, we have Donald Reinertsen, who suggested in his book Product Development Flow that our dominant paradigm for product development is fundamentally wrong. So this is telling us that, taken together, this is suggesting that there is a major gap in the project management practices that we are applying to product development, where the focus is on creating value.